Hello and welcome to Sports Bet Daily. It is Africa Cup of Nations today. We are previewing all 4 quarterfinal matches with Martin Green, our buddy and co-presenter. Alex has been, he's away on vacation, a well-deserved vacation. Last time I checked his Twitter, at Need for Tips, he was flying on the back of a boat. There he is, but it's okay because me and Martin have got you covered. It is tough, the Africa Cup of Nations. I hope you guys agree. We have said bet carefully, half unit. Sean Watson, I hope we do better than the last one. Absolutely. Martin, we've got 4 matches. You have previewed them in article. It is tough. I've got 2 bets that I really like, 2 leans until I speak to you. First of all, obviously, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Happy Tuesday to you. Right. First of all, the biggest upset and shock, and I have to say I'm pretty sad about it. Egypt. I thought that they were going to go and win it all.
It was very surprising, wasn't it? They've got Mohamed Salah, arguably the best player in the world right now, in great form, passionate home support. They should have been perfectly suited to the conditions. South Africa didn't look to have particularly a great deal of quality within their ranks, weren't in particularly good form. And somehow they just pulled off a real shock result. I don't think anyone was expecting it. The coach has since been sacked. It's all gone pear-shaped for him. But yeah, I think that probably cost a lot of people a lot of money. I was definitely on the Egypt win. So apologies to anyone that backed them. There were a few shock results in the round, to be honest. Just looking back at the round of tips, I think I got 3 out of the 5 that I went for, so did okay. I didn't expect Morocco to lose either. That was a shocker. Lost to Benin. I had Uganda.
Mighty
Senegal
Benin.
Beating Uganda. The mighty Benin are getting mightier.
I loved the Morocco bet. That was another. I would say that was the second upset.
Yeah, that was another extremely strange one. When you look at the players that Morocco have got, they look by far the better team on paper. They were also in great form. They beat Ivory Coast 1-0. They hadn't conceded a single goal in the tournament. They were looking supremely comfortable. And then you just get a freak result. I don't know if it's because we've had a long club season. The African Cup of Nations is normally sort of in the springtime, so it disrupts the club season. Now they're playing it in the summer so that it doesn't disrupt all the club competitions. But players are going to be tired. They've been playing in grueling heat out there in Egypt, and maybe we're just getting some shock results due to fatigue levels among some of the star players. But that would bolster those the advice to keep the units relatively sensible on this tournament. But having said that, I got Senegal against Uganda. I had Algeria to beat Guinea at 1.8, which came in, and also had Ivory Coast to beat Mali at 2.15. So it was still a decent round. Yeah. I think I just came out ahead, but hopefully we can keep the momentum going for the quarterfinals.
Yes. Hello to everybody watching. I wasn't sure what's the Mississippi Kid. Anthony says Champions League qualifiers are back. Where are the predictions? Well, we aren't previewing this round. We will be previewing them, I think, in September. I do not know that far away. Africa Cup of Nations, I believe. Alex from Need for Tips. Hey, buddy. Welcome. We will be. The Africa Cup of Nations is our final football tournament that we are previewing before the new regular season starts, and we are prepping and just getting ready basically for the start of the new season, and also having a little bit of vacation. Alex is on vacation right now. I will be going in a week's time. We do have to have a little break, so we're not previewing the Champions League at this stage, but we will be in September. We're also going. We've also got some new plans as well for the new season, so it's all very exciting. So I'm very sorry that we're not covering this stage, but we will be. All right.
Okay. Yeah, we'll certainly cover some of the bigger games when it gets down to it. When it gets to the bigger teams start coming in, and we'll see teams that a lot of people know. Right now, we're at the very, very first stages of qualification, and you're seeing some pretty unheralded teams up against one another. I think it's better to keep it for when we've got some of the more recognisable names that a lot of people are going to be interested in. And you can certainly look forward to lots of predictions and tips in the latter stages of qualifying, I think, for Champions League.
Yeah. Well put, Martin. That was very, very well. You can tell you're just like a writer. These like wonderful words come out. Okay, so let us start with Wednesday's matches. Senegal versus the mighty Benin. Senegal 1.5, draw 4, and Benin 9.5. Both of these games were tight. It's the Africa Cup of the Unders, and obviously the odds have that sewn up. There is no value. Obviously, we discussed Benin there, held Morocco 1-1 draw. They prevailed with penalties. They only had 33% ball possession, though I think we're looking at a Senegal win here. And just to get a bit of value, I'm looking at combining it with the unders. Do you predict Benin to score, and are they likely to keep Senegal, keep the match down in terms of goals?
I think we'll see the match kept down in terms of goals. I'm not actually sure if Benin can score. I think Kalidou Koulibaly is growing into this tournament. He's keeping them very well organised at the back. Yeah, I think it's strange that you mentioned that they only had 33% of possession in that game. It's a strange trend in this tournament that the team that's had the least possession keeps winning. Algeria had less possession. It was the same with Nigeria, Ivory Coast. All the teams that have been happy to sit back and concede possession and just bide their time and be efficient in front of goal, those are the teams that have prevailed. Teams that are trying to do too much in this heat and toiling away under the Egyptian sun seem to be struggling. So that'll be interesting to see. It might be a case of both teams not wanting to exert themselves too much, which I think is why we might see another unders game. I probably wouldn't go to under 2.5 goals, but I think under 3.5 goals looks good. I think if you combine the old classic, if you combine Senegal with under 3.5 goals, I think you'll get a pretty good set of odds. I think you get about 1.83 on that.
Yes.
That looks like a good bet to me. Benin, I mean, they did really well to beat Morocco. Nobody was expecting it. That game must have taken a lot out of them, though, because it lasted the full 120 minutes. They played the final 23 of them with just 10 men after Khaled Aldanon was sent off. They were chasing the ball for much of the game. They've had a 5-day rest period, but I do think fatigue will start to creep in. And I just think Senegal are the best team left in this tournament. The players they've got, the style of play that they have, they've got some players that are graceful on the ball, but they're also very powerful, very athletic. Sadio Mane is a real live wire up front, and Koulibaly at the back is very strong too. So I think they'll win this one. You can get sort of between 1.4 and 1.5. I'd stick that in an ACCA, definitely.
Yeah.
And Senegal to win and under 3.5 goals looks good to me at 1.83 as well.
Yeah, that's mine is Senegal and the under 3.5 goals at 1.83. Yeah, Senegal obviously the favourites to lift the trophy now that Egypt is are out. But I do have to say I'm still liking though Algeria and Nigeria. To be honest with you, those three, with Algeria as my second favourites, they did beat Senegal in the group stage, and I don't know whether I would go and put my money on this Senegal outright, with obviously Algeria still in the tournament. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting way of looking at it. Obviously, you can't argue with Algeria's credentials. They've been phenomenal so far. They did really well there to beat Senegal in that game. Riyad Mahrez of Man City is a fantastic playmaker, as we well know. He's really been leading the charge up front for them. But they look good in midfield as well. They've looked very comfortable in possession. I think they've been very, very impressive. But I do think that they've got a tricky game against Ivory Coast in this round of fixtures. That looks like it could go either way. I know Ivory Coast aren't the great team that we used to see maybe 8 years ago when they totally dominated Africa, when they had the likes of Yaya Toure and Didier Drogba. But they're still a good team. Wilfried Zaha is on fire now.
Yeah.
He's really changed their fortune since he came into the starting 11. And I think they'll give Algeria a really good game. If Algeria can get through that, then that will give them great confidence in their ability to go on and win this tournament. I think they're a very good side, Algeria, very well organised, good in possession. But I think Senegal still do just about deserve to be favourites, even though they lost that group stage game.
Yeah, well, we can move. We'll talk about the Ivory Coast Algeria match now. You say obviously very evenly matched. The odds obviously pit Algeria as the favourites. They're 2.25. The draw comes in 3.22, and Ivory Coast 4. I was kind of liking Algeria on the outrights, but you're saying it's too close to call. I'm guessing just by the odds there, 2.25. The draw no bet is probably going to be super low if you did want to go for the Algeria side. So are you staying away from the outrights? That was one of my matches that I wanted to talk to you about before I pulled the trigger, as they say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at draw no bet now for Algeria, and it's 1.53, which is
Yeah,
quite low.
yeah.
Uh, I agree with you. I do like Algeria to win that game, but I am just a little bit wary of Ivory Coast. They do have some very good players, like I said, Wilfried Zaha, but also you've got a fair bit of talent from some of the top teams across Europe. You know, Frank Kessié from AC Milan. You know, they've got a few good players. They're no mugs. They've got good footballing pedigree. And Nicolas Pepe, you know, he's one of the most highly rated players in world football right now. So yeah, I think they'll be dangerous. I know Algeria haven't conceded a goal all tournament, which is a really phenomenal statistic. But I think this could be the game when they finally concede. Just think things are starting to click for Ivory Coast. They're growing into the tournament. Wilfried Zaha is full of tricks. He can win penalties. He can get crosses in. He's a real live wire, and he really makes things happen. So I think we should be in for a good game in this one. We've very rarely seen both teams scoring in games in this tournament, but I think this could be an exception to the rule. So it's the underdog, but it's 2.2 both teams to score. The favourite is not both teams scoring, but I think we could see an upset there because there's going to be some fine attacking talent on show. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. Both teams to score for me, 2.2.
Oh, I don't know. It's so going against trend, isn't it, at this point in the tournament? But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
I'm so nervous. I do like Algeria, I have to say. I'm definitely a massive lean towards Algeria on the outright, 2.25. Barca man, you've usually got a ton of tips up your sleeve. What do you like in that match? Ivory Coast versus Algeria as well. Everybody watching, Ivory Coast versus Algeria. Okay. Next, let's move to Nigeria versus South Africa. Nigeria 2.05, draw 3.1, and South Africa 4.6. I don't know if you want to bring those up, Rafa. The odds for Nigeria. Obviously, as we said in the beginning, these are all going to be clipped. So if I repeat myself, it is for the purpose of the clip over on YouTube here. South Africa obviously pulled off the upset, kicking hosts and favourites Egypt out. Obviously, quite large underdogs here, 4.6. Nigeria also, they beat defending champs Cameroon. Can South Africa pull the upset? I suppose, you know, the value is certainly on South Africa. I'm actually just going to bring up and see in which direction the odds are moving. For the value hunters, is South Africa worth a punt at 4.6, or is Nigeria just too strong of a team, as was Egypt?
Well, I mean, the evidence suggests that they can beat anyone in this tournament after knocking out Egypt, who were the favourites in their backyard. But I wouldn't be betting on South Africa. I'm surprised to see them go this far in the tournament. I watched them lose to Ivory Coast in their opening game, and I didn't think they looked particularly impressive at all. You look at the quality within their squad, there's not many players plying their trade in Europe's top leagues. Actually, I mean, there's no one from the Premier League, from Serie A, from La Liga, from the Bundesliga. Most of them are playing in the domestic league. They seem to have good chemistry, which has counted in their favour. But yeah, I think that surprise factor is going to go a bit. Perhaps Egypt were a bit complacent, maybe thought they had won the game before it even began. Whereas Nigeria will know that they have to take them very seriously now. And I fancy Nigeria to win it. It's going to be a good game. I think it will be tight. But after that victory over Cameroon, I think they'll be full of confidence, the Nigerians, with the mighty Alex Iwobi from the mighty Arsenal leading them. I think they'll fancy their chances in this tournament. Always been one of the biggest teams on the continent, always been one of the biggest teams in Europe, in Africa. And yeah, they've got some good players still. Igalo up front's full of pace. He knows how to finish. Ahmed Musa is in great goal scoring form. He's also very, very quick, which is important. And Iwobi's pulling the strings with real aplomb. So I think I like Nigeria to win this one.
Yeah.
I think of anything, I'm just going to go for the straight Nigeria win. You can get odds of 2.05, and I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I do as well. Nigeria to win. Also, if you want to just squeeze a bit more value there, Nigeria and the under 3.5 goals at 2.4. I just looked at the line as well. Really, not much movement at all. A little tiny bit. Nigeria opened at 1.92. You can now get obviously odds of about 2.04, 2.05, 2. Not much movement. South Africa obviously opened up at 4.01. They're now 4.33, so drifting a little bit as well. Just a shout out to Jay at the Sports Keg. He's doing tremendously well on his live betting. He's up like something 200 units. He's having a remarkable season. And I can't wait to talk to him for some UFC tips later on in the week. So yeah, Nigeria a win for me as well. Now, some people did answer both teams to score. They like that bet with the Ivory Coast, Algeria. Eric Brunner says Algeria looked amazing this tournament. I like them to win it all. I do a little bit as well. Algeria, Senegal. Let's see how they get past Ivory Coast. But I would have to agree with that. All right, okay, fourth and final match here. This one, again, a little tough. Madagascar versus Tunisia. Tunisia 1.8, draw 3.38, and Madagascar 6. Obviously, Madagascar, so we've talked about the biggest upset. These ones have been the surprise team, have they not? Sort of their debut, they've done very well to get this far. They are quite a large underdog, priced at 6. Can they continue? Tunisia have been, you know, not say they almost was eliminated in the last round.
They were, yeah. They were extremely lucky in the last round. You know, they benefited from, they benefited from that late own goal, Rami Bedway. They were on the brink of elimination.
Yeah.
91st minute own goal, managed to scrape it into injury time. Brutal for that guy who scored that own goal. He's not going to get a hero's welcome on his return, is he? But yeah, they were lucky. What I find fascinating is that Tunisia are 25th in the FIFA World Rankings, the 25th team. Only Senegal, out of all of the teams in this tournament, are ranked higher than them. I don't think the quality within the Tunisia squad really justifies that position. We saw England thrash them at the World Cup last summer. I don't rate them particularly highly, but I still think they should have enough about them to get past Madagascar in this one. Debut appearance in the Africa Cup of Nations for Madagascar. They've done well to cobble a pretty good squad together. They got a few sort of French players who'd never managed to crack it into the French team and convince them to come and represent them. So it's a bit of a ragtag group, but they played with real heart and desire. And I think everyone's willing them on to win. They've been fantastic. They beat Nigeria, which nobody was expecting. Scraped past the Democratic Republic of Congo in the last 16 after a penalty shootout. It's fairy tale stuff for them, but yeah, I think when it gets to this stage in the tournament, the fairy tale could come to an end. Tunisia, clear favourites, and I guess deservedly so. 1.8 you can get on them. I might stick that in an ACCA, but like you said, Tunisia aren't in great form either, so I'm a bit wary of that. One thing about Madagascar is that they've played with a lot of ambition. They haven't sat back at all. They've been committing men forward. They've been scoring a lot of goals. They were 2-2 in their last round. They scored against Nigeria, so I think they can get on the score sheet in this one. And once again, I'm looking at both teams to score. You can get odds of 2.37 on both teams to score. So I'm not going to go too wild with my stakes on that game because I don't like it too much, but 2.37, I'll have a little bet on both teams to score in that one.
Yeah, I think, leaning towards the Tunisia, those are my two leans. And it's the Thursday matches. So Madagascar, I like Tunisia 1.8 and Algeria 2.25. With my main bets being Nigeria to win. I also like Nigeria to win and the under 3.5 goals 2.4. and Senegal and the under 3.5 goals at 1.83. Do you have what are your more firmer bets? Do you have leans, or are you putting a unit, half a unit on all 4 plays of those?
Yeah, I like Senegal to win. 1.5 isn't a great set of odds, but I'd put that straight into an accumulator. I'll definitely put a unit on Senegal to win and under 3.5 goals. None of their games so far have gone above that tally, and we know that Benin are quite stubborn defensively. So I like that. Nigeria to win against South Africa. I'll stick my neck out and go for a full bet on that as well. Yeah, I think for Ivory Coast versus Algeria, maybe half a unit on both teams to score and half a unit on the Algeria win. And then again, half a unit on Tunisia to win and half a unit on both teams to score in that game against Madagascar.
Yeah, and those odds as well for the both teams to score, very nice indeed. You can get away with that. You can get away with that half unit. All right, wonderful stuff. Those are the 4 games. I think when are we back for the finals? Alex will still be away. We will fly the flag solo. When are we doing the finals?
Well, let's have a look.
Here we go. We are doing them on Friday. Are you around Friday to cover the finals of the Africa Cup of Nations?
I sure am, yeah. Yeah, I certainly am. But is the final on Friday?
I will have to check. If not, it'll have to be Thursday. That's
sorry, yeah. So,
we will,
Thursday.
Friday, Friday is, when we cover it. And then obviously as well, UFC Fight Night 155 with Dave Betts and Jay Paglia from the Sports Cake is also going to be on Friday. Tomorrow, we have got a Wimbledon semi-finals with Snice and Whale Kappa. Thursday, there is no show because I am prepping and planning for the new season. Is a lot of work. All right, great stuff, Martin. Thank you for joining me and covering Africa Cup of Nations, and I'll see you on Friday.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, bye guys. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.